Bleach Rebirth of Souls, a fantastic anime fighting game, maybe one of the best, that has had one of the worst launches ever. Issues, bugs, everything popping up, graphic setting issues, black screens, you name it, this game has had the issues with it, and it's left a lot of people unhappy, which is crazy because the gameplay is just so fire. We're going to dive into this. I'm going to talk about all the positives in the game, all the negatives, things I didn't like, things I did like. And starting off, we're going to focus on the character list here. As you can see, there's a lot of characters and they're all extremely unique and they all have a different range, abilities, awakened forms, movement, even their basic movement, moving them around, how they move forward, dashes. Everything's different about every single character, so it really lines up to feel unique no matter which character you pick. You never feel like you're playing a clone or just something too similar to somebody else. Let's focus on the combat, which is the strongest point in this game, which that's the best part because it is a fighting game. So you would want that to be the strongest point. I've got to say, they did a great job. It's kind of a rock, paper, scissors mentality here. You can block attacks, you can block light attacks, heavy attacks. The only attack you can't block is a shield breaking attack. And when the shield breaking attack comes at you, if it hits you, pretty much it hits you and then you can get a combo in, they get a combo in on you. But at the same time, if you attack when they're trying to shield break attack you, there's a delay and you hit them, it's going to let you get a combo off. So there's a rock, paper, scissors mentality going on throughout the combat for your regular attacks. And then every character has a special move that doesn't require any type of energy that they can launch anytime. And it's different for every character. And then there are special attacks which require the yellow bars at the bottom. And depending on the attack, it will use a different amount of the yellow bar energy. Some just use 1 bar out of the 3, and then others use all of them or 2. So it kind of depends on the character and how much energy it uses. And those are all inspired by the anime, and they all do pretty good damage. The whole idea as you fight the battles is that you're building up the top left and right bars, you're chipping down the enemy's reishi health bars, and you want to break them down to 0. So you have a health bar which pretty much breaks down, and you're going to be able to do a massive attack to do soul destruction, which takes down those reishi bars up top. And then as combat goes on and you build up your bars up top, you have the ability to awaken. And when you awaken, you become a new form with new attacks, new abilities, and you're a lot stronger. So pretty much the battles will evolve and escalate over time naturally, and it feels very, very smooth. I've got to say that compared to a lot of anime fighting games, I think this one nails it, and it's just phenomenal, the experience to be able to enjoy this and play it. I think a lot of games in the future could learn from what they're doing here. Not going to say it's perfect. I do think that there could be room for maybe more customization for the player, so that maybe, not every player that plays the same character will have the same experience. Maybe some options that you can kind of change to give you a different experience. Now that I've peppered this with the positivity of how good the combat is and how much I enjoy it, let's talk about the launch and the negativity going on with this game. So pretty much this game has a lot of issues, and a lot of it's because it's just a bad port. They just lazy, did not put the time and effort in to make this enjoyable for PC players, and that's the #1 issue with this game. I imagine anyone playing this on a console is having absolutely no issues, and it's just us PC players that are mad. So that doesn't surprise me. Graphic options are pretty much non-existent. There's hardly any graphic options. It's very, very basic, which is crazy in 2025. On top of that, I couldn't even do borderless I could not do borderless and have 4K. It was borderless 1440p, and that was my only option. I have a 4K monitor, which means that I'm looking at this blur. And then I'd put it to full screen, which I don't even know, looking at it, I'm not 100% sold that full screen is actually 4K textures and graphics. I really think it's not, because looking at it, I just feel like there's a little bit of blur there to it, like it stretched the pixels out to make it fit the screen. So I feel like maybe there's something missing there, when I watch it. So just a lot of issues like that. Also, people having black screen issues where the game just going to a black screen. They couldn't get out of the beginning tutorial. Issues like that. It's not optimized for SSDs. I will say that. The loading screens are all extremely janky. They freeze up, they hang up, they don't load properly. It's supposed to be a smooth animation, and it never is because they're not optimized for SSDs. I know exactly what the issue is, that they expect it to take longer to load, and then they're just loading too fast. And so it's causing it to look real janky. So yeah, that's pretty much all the major bugs. Also, FPS, massive frame drops. A lot of it to me depends on the map, but you'll see frame drops on maps with like breakable objects. I feel like that's the big issues, or objects where it's like uneven terrain, things like that. When things start breaking or the characters start moving around a lot, you'll see massive frame drops. On this map, for example, I didn't notice any frame drops. Ran very, very well, very, very smooth. But the opening game, you're pretty much fighting in Karakura Town, and that whole area has a lot of breakable stuff like benches and like light poles and things like that, and just the frame drops in that first opening hour you're playing were just so massive. It's very noticeable, and that's the first experience you're going to get with this game, playing the story. Now that we've talked about the combat and we've talked about the negatives for the launch of the game, I want to talk about the story mode, or the campaign, I guess you would say, and things I liked about it, things I didn't like about it. I will say this: the way they're telling it, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of filler in between. You know what I mean? It feels like you're waiting a while, which I get it. Some of that is building up the story, and some of it happens and they do a flashback, and there is some kind of like odd. It's kind of a different style of storytelling than what I would probably like for this. I would like something more linear, you know what I mean? Kind of go from, but maybe that's the way they decided to deliver it. Also, I'm not a fan of the in-engine kind of cutscene parts. I just feel like it's so cheap. They do have a very well drawn, where it's like a drawn style storytelling, and that looks so good. Like the artwork for it, it's just phenomenal, very high quality and very artistic looking. I just love the drawn side of it. When it comes to actual storytelling, I wouldn't even care if they just upscaled like old anime footage and like maybe brought it up to today's standard. I mean, I feel like there could have been ways they could have made those moments a lot better than what we got to experience. They're just in-game kind of quality. I'm not even going to say cutscenes, but like more like events, like you're going through the story. It's just the in-game engine. It's exactly the same thing you see in combat. Like the characters, they just don't look near as good as what you'd expect. I feel like the artwork, storytelling, or if they would have just upscaled old footage. You gotta think, the original Bleach anime came out in like 2004. So a lot of the beginning arc and a lot of the stuff now is very aged. So I feel like they could have just upscaled or remastered a lot of that old footage for today's level of like graphics and styling, and I think we would have pretty much all loved it. I just feel like the in-game engine stuff is lazy. But who knows? Maybe in the future, maybe this gets a sequel. Maybe they decide to go that route in the future with popularity, or maybe this is the last game and all they do is add on DLC, which I am super excited for DLC in the future, and that's the next segment we're going to talk about. Looking at DLC, it looks to be that there's going to be season passes coming out, with no idea how many. Hopefully more than just the first one. Hopefully popularity supports it. But I will say this. It seems like they're going to add in cosmetics and probably more of the soul gems, which kind of give you some different bonuses for your character in combat, and then obviously new characters. I do hope that the season pass is something that's going to add into the campaign over and over, over time, like maybe different stories or events, or adds into the main story, which is what the anime is covering now, the 1,000-year Blood War. So that's kind of my hope. That's what DLC is going to do, and it's going to focus on. I think that's going to continue the longevity of this game and really support the fan base of the anime itself or the manga. So yeah, I'm excited for that. So this is a review, and I am going to give it a review score, but I'm going to kind of do it a little bit different here. As a fighting game in general, I'm probably going to give this an 8 out of 10, just as a regular fighting game. Looking at Mortal Kombat and all the others, and a lot of that really doesn't have to do with the actual fighting and why it gets a lower score. It's mainly just because, just like many other anime games, they're a thing suitable for all ages. And I will say this: I prefer usually a little bit more hardcore, brutal fighting game. That's something that I just kind of enjoy more than something that appeals to all ages. Games that are too scared to, we don't want to show any blood, so we're gonna make it yellow. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, we know they're bleeding. And the manga obviously has blood. So that, that's something I kind of think. So as a fighting game, 8 out of 10. As an anime fighting game, I'm gonna say it's probably a 9.5 out of me. There's only a couple of things I think they should add in. Kind of like how Naruto games have like an item thing. There should be something here to give the players customization for each character to kind of make each character play just a teeny tiny bit different. I just think there's some more options out there they could do to implement that. But again, though, this is the first game in this series, in my opinion, so they're doing phenomenal right out the gate. Other complaint also, this is a game that is an adaptation of the anime into a fighting game, and the anime is an adaptation of the manga into an anime, and I feel like that whenever you get to the third adaptation down, you start to lose something. I really wish that more anime fighting games would do adaptations of the manga or the original source, and I feel like if they did that, then they would have a lot more success, and it would probably be a lot more on the older side of the agenda instead of being focused on, kids under 13 and things like that. My recommendations. So I do recommend this for the hardcore Bleach fans. If you like the Bleach anime, if you like the Bleach manga, you're going to like this game. It's gonna get that itch. It's gonna click all your boxes. I promise you, you're gonna enjoy it. Every time when you play it, you're gonna be like, I can't wait to get to the next part, the next part, the next part. It's very, very addicting for people that are a fan of it. If you're a fan of fighting games, you might just want to hang off until they fix some of these issues, because you may go in and go, oh man, this optimization, these bugs, these issues, it may make you regret buying the game, and you don't want that to happen. So I would say wait for them to fix some of this stuff, and when they do, then dive in, or wait for the first sale. That way you feel a little bit more comfortable on taking the risk on something like this, on this game. I think that's my recommendation for those, but I do recommend playing it. I think it's a great experience. I think that anyone who doesn't get to play this is probably going to miss out, in my opinion. I did buy the Ultimate Edition of this game, the highest one. I bought it with my own money. Was not sponsored in any way to give this review. So yeah, guys, that's my recommendation. That's my review. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think about this game, what you think about this review. I love chatting with y'all down in the comments, and I am going to let this battle, finish off so you get to see the end of the combat and him launch his special attack here at the end. Yeah, guys, I'll catch you next time in the next review and the next video. Thank you.